Hi, my name is HWilkinson and I'm a junior mass media major at Valdosta State University. Recently, I began looking into why most gymnasts don't have the opportunity to compete in college and pursue a professional career. As a former gymnast, I know that the time span to be professional is generally around 16 to 18 years old, which is well before college. However, the decision to go pro for a gymnast will affect the rest of their career because of the NCAA eligibility rules. To better understand these eligibility rules, I reached out to the Director of Compliance and Eligibility at Valdosta State University, Mr. Bobby Tucker.
NCAA says that each year student athletes have to do X number of things to be eligible to continue to play, whether it's next semester or the next year or whatever, and so there's guidelines as to what they have to do academically.
Alongside these academic guidelines, there are strict rules when it comes to an athlete going pro.
Once they do that, then they're not eligible to continue to participate NCAA-wise in that particular sport. They want to keep that separated as far as the professional aspect. Once you decide that, okay, I think I'm done with the amateurism at the college level, then they feel like that door should shut.
But according to the NCAA, what determines if an athlete is professional or not is whether or not they receive endorsements. For example, Kyla Ross and Madison Koshin are both gymnasts who went to the Olympics and have elite training, but because they did not accept endorsements from companies, they are eligible to compete in college. But not everyone made this decision. Olympic gold medalist Jordan Weber was directly affected by this rule when she decided to go pro after winning worlds at 16 years old and was therefore unable to compete in college. I had the opportunity to sit down with her and talk about her decision to go pro.
It was a difficult decision just because I always wanted to do college gymnastics. Obviously love what it's all about, but I talked to my parents, just kind of looked at the options, and we just made the best decision for me.
She goes on to express how she feels about this eligibility rule.
I understand the rule as it relates to a lot of other sports. For gymnastics, I think it makes a little bit less sense, just having been on the other side of it, wishing I could have had the best of both worlds. Just because, for a lot of gymnasts, the lifespan is a little bit different. You usually go to the Olympics well before you go to college. In my opinion, it should be on a sport-to-sport basis, but, for a lot of reasons, I understand why the rule exists for sports like basketball and football.
While meeting with Jordan, I ran into Olympian Bridget Sloan, who was able to share her perspective on the rule with me. I look at it, when you take money, you're giving up something, which unfortunately it is the eligibility. I know there is a lot of conversation about changing that rule. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's hard to describe my feelings on that, just because, the opportunity was there maybe at one point in my life. But in my opinion, as soon as you take money, gymnastics, or whatever sport, that becomes your job. For me, gymnastics was always my fun sport that I got to do because I loved it, and then I got to go to college and do it. After speaking with Bridget, I realized that at this point I had only spoken to people who were failed by the NCAA system, and I was interested in talking to someone it worked for. So I reached out to VSU basketball senior Clay Giozzi to learn more about him pursuing a professional career in basketball and what he would have done if he had to choose like gymnasts.
It's really, like I said, I have a love for the game. It's something that's always been a part of my life and took me everywhere. I'm from Ohio. It brought me down here to Georgia, kind of seeing a different part of the United States and just bringing me to college as well. So I just want to be able to play as long as I can, and I feel like if it can take me overseas to see a different part of the world and I can just stay with my true love, basketball, that'd be amazing.
But if he had to choose between being a college athlete or a professional athlete, Clay felt being a college athlete was the way to go.
Just because I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's the whole experience. Getting the college feel, the college atmosphere, we have a huge support system here at VSU, and that's the way it is in a lot of colleges. I know going overseas and playing professionally, you may not always get that crowd following, that hometown feel. And also the education part of going to college, I feel like is very beneficial and something in the long run that I feel like is going to take me further than maybe if I did go overseas and get an injury or it didn't work out for me.
This college experience Clay is talking about is really what separates college gymnastics from professional gymnastics. In college gymnastics, gymnasts get to have more fun and grow together as a team, whereas professional gymnastics is more serious. While filming at a college meet, I was able to see how much these girls enjoyed competing in the college environment and being a part of a team. As a professional gymnast, you are not drafted onto a team like the NFL, you represent your country. These teenagers are having to choose between competing in college or being professional when they shouldn't have to. Gymnastics should not be conformed to the same cookie-cutter rules that were made for football and basketball. A dollar sign should not be what separates gymnasts from the best of both worlds.